What would happen if Arnold and Robbie Robinson were competing in today's modern era? Well, you'd probably get something like Logan Franklin and Breon Ansley. A few weeks ago, I put Wesley Vissers against Breon's prime 2020 Olympia version, and that was a very old school comparison. But I think this comparison between 2025 Arnold classic Logan Franklin and 2020 Breon Ansley will be even more classic. Let's go ahead and jump into this comparison to see who comes out ahead. Remember, if you guys like these types of videos, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more. This is why I wanted to do this comparison. The apples and oranges straight up makes me want to bust. In most poses, there really isn't a wrong answer here, but let's break it down. In the legs, I have to go with Logan. For the third leg review, you'll have to visit Mark's Max Muscles channel. Now, at this point in Breon's career, his legs were actually in much better balance with his upper half, and in and of themselves, his quads are actually quite good here. Logan is just bigger and very cut. The torso is a similar predicament. Logan is a touch smaller in the waist, but I like Breon's vacuum more, and I like his lats more too for that matter. Breon doesn't stop winning there either. He ends the pose by getting a small win in the arms. The biceps peak ever so slightly more and his separation is a bit better. Now, in my classic comparisons, I keep them very open-ended until the end where I decide a winner, and most poses are merely observations. But in this comparison and in poses like this, I certainly won't call a winner because I can't. I mean, how could I? They're both winners, but at the same time, they're bringing something very different. They're both complete, detailed, and classic. I don't even have a favorite in this shot. You could ask me today and I might say Breon, but tomorrow I'll probably say Logan. We're going to need to look at other poses to decide this, of course, and we have a little more clarity in the side chest. The side leg goes to Logan, again, just because he's bigger. Both are solid in terms of detail, though. But even though Breon is smaller, he's just as balanced glute to ham as Logan is, but again, bigger is better in this case. Then for the upper limb, I'm giving that to Breon. There's more cap in the delt and the bicep peak looks good, but he prioritizes it way too much in this pose if you ask me. He always hikes that shoulder up in this shot, and it makes his arm and delt look great, but what about the pecs? Well, not so much. He needs some help there from his posing since he's not blessed with the strongest chest genetically, but the posing actually hinders him here. He is losing the pecs to Logan, even though Logan isn't blessed with the milkers either, but he's packing a bit more thickness than Breon. Breon does have better detail, but that's just not enough. And of course, Logan has the added advantage from the get-go of being bigger in terms of overall mass and structure. Is this the biggest win in the world? No, but this is going to be one of the bigger ones of the comparison, if that tells you anything. Next, we have the rear double. This is a bit closer than I thought it would be. I think most of us thought Breon would win the shot, and he does, but I guess it's not the biggest victory, surprisingly. Even though this was the best overall version of Breon, I think his back was actually getting better up until the very end of his classic run. Here, though, Logan is very complete. The lower bodies are closer than the back. Breon is actually very solid with his 2020 version, but of course, Logan is just bigger. He has the better quad sweeps, more overall size, and he has good glute and ham detail. I don't know if it's the lighting or the whatever, but he looks a bit more saran wrapped. But Breon is no slouch here with his development nor detail. For the back department, we do have to rely a little on our former knowledge, as Breon only had like 4 photos from prejudging and they were all taken when he was over-posing on this one. He did make a small habit of this where he would pinch those shoulder blades together too much, thus making his back smaller, more closed off. So here we can't see the full extent of his actual back. Even here though, we can see how thick his back was, and that's what Logan needs actually. He's missing some of that density. He has good detail, but Breon is actually a touch better combined with better overall thickness and development. Then to cap it off, we have some great arms and delts from each guy. Real looking arms and delts. Not blurred blobs that you get from a lot of open competitors. These guys have a great number of striations in those delts and great peaks to the biceps. For the overall win, as mentioned, Breon takes it, but Logan really does have a solid pose here. He's bringing a complete and balanced pose with a much better lower body actually. Breon got the win here because he does have the better back, but in time, Logan can surely add that density and improve greatly. Now we have the trickiest call to make in this comparison. In the abs and thighs, we have 2 ways we can look at this. First and foremost, crunched abs to abs. I prefer Logan's traditional abs and thighs to Breon's, but Breon is very close. Logan has the better quads and slightly better separation in the abs, but both guys don't have the best torso shape for this shot. I wish they both actually had better tapers. I suppose Logan's is just a touch better though, with a little bit better lats and a smaller waist proportionally. So they're not the strongest abs and thighs poses out there in the classic division, but they more than get the job done, with Logan barely coming out ahead. But Breon has the vacuum pose too, which Logan didn't do for the shot at the Arnold. And this is the trouble I'm running into. Do I pick Logan for the actual better crunched abs, or do I give it to Breon for only slightly losing said crunched abs pose, but adding in an additional vacuum pose? I think I may agree with the latter sentiment more often than not, but there are strong arguments for each. Once again, there is no wrong choice here. And finally, that brings us to the favorite classic pose. Here you just see two photos of the two poses I like the most from each guy. But obviously this is just a taste of what these guys have to offer. These guys are really in S+ tier in terms of posing. And with that said, there usually isn't a winner in the shot anyway because it's subjective, but there definitely won't be here one today. These guys are so great that it can really go either way for overall posing, which is what I look at instead of just one single pose. But they're both bringing great classic poses to the actual mandatory round as well. Well, this one is going to be very open-ended. My classic comparisons already are, but for this matchup, I really don't have an opinion one way or another. At least one that's not going to change on a dime. That's partly because this comparison was so close. These guys are very even across all poses. If we take the favorite classic pose out, we have 4 poses left. The first trade-off after that is with the side chest and the rear double. These were the only clear wins of the comparison, if you want to call them that. They were at least the biggest wins of the comparison. That leaves them with 1 apiece. Then there's the front double and the abs and thighs. I think those can really go either way. I think I just slightly prefer Logan in the front double and Breon in the abs and thighs though. But I could have Logan or Breon winning neither or both poses too. All in all, I think this matchup highlights something that I think will be very important to keep in mind as the classic division goes through some changes this year and in the years to come. There is certainly room for both types of physiques in this division. I mean, who wouldn't want to see matchups like this? And I predict we will see more apples and oranges now. Chris Bumstead is gone and you don't have that type of physique that combines everything so well and steamrolls everyone, but I think these types of matchups would be just as exciting. It's just like Arnold versus Robbie. Although I think the Logan and Arnold comparisons are just slightly forced, to me he looks a lot more like Frank Zane with a modern lower body, but I digress. But with these comparisons being made to Golden Era legends, obviously both of these guys, Breon and Logan, are more than classic enough. Neither of these guys should be forced to move to a 212 division or get low placings. These physiques both have a home in this division, right at the very top. With that said, I am leaving this truly open-ended. I don't have a winner. We, the audience, are the winners. This is exactly the type of comparison we should be seeing in the upper echelons of the classic division. Well, that's going to do it for today's video. Of course, I couldn't decide a winner, so be sure to let me know who you had winning this matchup and why down in the comments below. And if you guys like this video and want to see more, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss a video. And if you guys are in need of some high quality supplements and want to support my channel even further, head over to Arms Race Nutrition. Then at checkout, use my code Project10 to get 10% off your entire order. That's code Project10 at armsracenutrition.com. And finally, with all that said, I want to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.
Gotta get that Lexia.